Welcome to lunch at MarTech. I'm Chris Sherman. I'm Vice President of Programming for Third Door Media, the producers of MarTech. Have you all been having a good show so far? Yeah? Please, if you've got the mobile app, please give us feedback through that app. We really, really do value your opinion. It really helps us figure out how the show went and improve it as we go forward. One of the cool things about coming to MarTech every year is just watching the phenomenal growth in the space. According to Scott Brinker's most recent marketing landscape, which you should be able to get a copy of today, as I understand it, the space has more than doubled in the last year, which for marketers gives us phenomenal options. I mean, it's just amazing the number of tools and resources and systems and everything that is out there to help us with our jobs. But it also suggests that things might be a little bit fragmented and that many companies are struggling to integrate first, second, third-party sources of data. Any of you facing challenges like this with your MarTech stacks? Nobody? Yeah, I thought so. So what if you could actually create your own ecosystem? I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Where basically you kind of took the controls and built exactly what you wanted according to your own specifications and need. That's what our speaker this afternoon is going to talk to you about. Please welcome Jeremy Roberts. Jeremy is Director of Partnership Marketing for Acxiom. He's going to talk about marketing in the open garden, connecting your marketing ecosystem at the data layer. Jeremy?
So how's everybody doing today? Is mic check? Good? Not too loud? OK. So as you can see, I'm not Dennis Self. Dennis, unfortunately, came down with strep throat. He was sick, so I'm his pinch hitter today. So bear with me. I'm going to rock your world today with some fragmented marketing. So let's get started. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I got some very smart Acxiom people right up here at the front. They'd love for you to just try to stump them with fabulous questions. I think Ray would call you out so you can. No, Ray doesn't want to know all those questions. So thank you for coming today. My name is Jeremy Roberts. I lead partner marketing for Acxiom. I've been a marketing practitioner for about 20 years. The first 10 years, I was in small businesses and startups. The last 10 years of that, I've worked at companies like Rackspace, Harlan Clark, and IBM. And I'm very excited to be here with you today. This is a passion topic for me. I actually spoke here last year on a very similar stage at MarTech. I think the stage just around the corner when I was with IBM, talking about the fragmented marketing ecosystem. So it's a topic that's really dear to me. So today I want to talk about a movement, right? So this is a movement to empower marketers with more control. So specifically, that asks you to take control of your marketing data. We're not asking vendors to take control. We're asking you to take control. So let's get started. So these, in many ways, ought to be the best of times for marketers. You know, when you think about it, there's more access to data than ever before. I mean, there's more insights to your behaviors, to your preferences, and every year the amount of data just keeps doubling and tripling. It's exponential. But you know, it also creates more opportunities to reach more people through email, display, search, mobile, IoT, and many other things. But you know, if you think about it, there's almost an endless source of technologies. And there's an endless source of applications and an endless source of platforms to help us listen, plan, predict, activate, engage, test, measure, model, and optimize. And if you think about it, there's an application out there. You saw the landscape. There's got to be an application out there for that. But this awesome power, marketers, everybody here in the audience would have given anything to have this awesome power, this landscape, even 5 years ago. And we can all agree that the days of guest-based marketing, that's gone. And the days of data-driven marketing is here to stay. And it's pretty fantastic. But even though it's the best of times, it's really actually the worst of times. Why? Because you're in this age of fragmentation. This is it. You're in the age of fragmentation. So as marketers, you know, our worlds are really shattered into dozens and even hundreds of different silos. And even when you look internally at your own internal marketing stack at your company, it's probably really rare to find a marketing stack that truly is connected from end to end. I don't know how many people here in the room that can tell me that they have a marketing stack that truly is integrated from end to end. Some people are smiling, laughing. You are, Seth. Hey, how you doing? So the thing is, you are not to blame, and this is not your fault, the fact that it's not integrated. I hate to say this, but you have to blame the vendors. It's their fault. And the thing is, if you think about it, your job is to go out and build these beautiful marketing stacks with the best-of-breed companies. And your job is to build the best possible customer experience for your consumers. And the last thing you want to focus on is, how quickly can I get the integrations done? No, you got to drive revenue. This is your job. And the thing is, this fragmentation, it's causing more problems because here's the key. Innovation is causing fragmentation. That's the key point here, right? Innovation is causing fragmentation. So here's a quick poll. How many people in here can say, this is a kind of a feel-good, and I'm looking around the corner because I've got these people around the pole. It's kind of funny here, right? How many people here can effectively say they can manage all their channels? All the data in their channels, across all of your channels. How many people feel comfortable they effectively can do that? And integrate them together. Okay, what about maybe just your offline channels? How many people can integrate that? What about your online channels? What about the two together? Has anybody tried matching those two together, online and offline? Ooh, magical people right there. The guy in the back with the tan jacket. Let's go talk to him afterwards, right? So, Scott Brinker, as we all know, so yesterday, he showed this. This is a thing of beauty, right? Back in 2011, there was 150 companies. 2016, just last year, when I was up on this stage last year, it was 3,500 companies, and now just over 5,000. And it's crazy. If you think about it, in the upcoming year, how many more silos of fragmented data are going to be built based on this new landscape, based on all those companies up there in the expo trying to sell you stuff? And it's great that they are, but it's causing these problems. So another thing to note is a few years ago when I was at IBM, actually with some of those guys over there, we did this study, and we found out that the average marketing department uses 35 different marketing applications to run their department. 35. This was 3 years ago. Today, I have a feeling it's creeping up into the 40 range. But if you think about it, as time goes on, what will it take to satisfy us? How many applications do you need in that stack? But even though that's happening, it comes back to this idea that time and innovation is creating fragmentation. So what do? So it's time that you need to do something about this, right? And we're going to get to that. So today, silos, they're really the order of the day. People-based data is scattered among dozens, perhaps even hundreds of different silos. And these silos themselves are really, split up in these two enormous canyons across this marketing landscape. So the first of these is you have this gap. You have this ad tech, and you have this MarTech gap, right? So what we find here is the campaign management and the analytics in your MarTech, and on the other side, usually that's completely divorced from your DMPs and your programmatic tools and your ad tech, right? See some people nodding their head. Maybe even bigger than this is the online and the offline gap. So there's this massive gulf between the online gap or the offline gap with your stores, your contact centers, your CRM systems, and then you also have your online or your digital world, your search, social, and mobile. But your ability to connect these things together is maybe limited at best. So it's kind of painful to think, man, I have this beautiful stack of all these great applications, but you're not doing it justice. Sometimes when I look at it and say, yeah, we have AI or we have some type of algorithm that's able to take the data and find out what the next predictive model is. But it's only predictive to that single source of data. So how much value is that? Not that much. You got to look at all the data together. And that's what we're talking about today. So to make things even tougher, The demands of the consumer privacy and data protection regulations mean that there isn't really much room for error in managing all this. There's silos, there's canyons, there's fragmentations, and forget about a single view of the customer. You're lucky if you get the fuzzy, pixelated view of the customer, this person right here, right? And unfortunately, you can only hope for this. This is just hope. And if complexity was enough, we are not marketing in a static world. So we also have to deal with change, rapidly accelerating change on literally every single front. So this means new tools, new technologies, new techniques, new channels, new regulations, new innovations, new vendors, and they're all making it harder for us to stay on course or even plan for the future. With all these different things, how do you actually effectively go and build out a marketing plan for next year? That's probably one of the hardest things. And here's the funny part. I've done a lot of this planning, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, it's Q4 or Q3, we're getting ready to get in Q4, let's start early. And what's the first thing you do when you build out your marketing plan? You get excited, and you have that one line item that says, new and cool, innovative things, right? The growth. That's the easiest thing to come up with because you know what you want to do. But how many people actually get to that first? No. You end up waiting until Q3 or Q4 the following year to get to that. And why have you never gotten to that? Because everything is fragmented. You're still living in the Stone Age of using siloed data amongst your siloed applications. So, what is the tax that's paid from all this fragmentation? Well, there's a few different things. So the first one, poor visibility. Poor visibility of your data and your consumers, and ultimately, your end results. The second one, it's really a limited understanding of your customers and the experience that you're going to provide to them. Next thing is an inaccurate attribution. Because of fragmentation, we can't tell what's working, we can't tell what's not, we can't tell what to spend money on, and we can't tell what to cut off. That's a problem. So if you think about it, a little scary thought is, think back about how big your budget is. Let's say you have $1 million budget. $1 million is a lot of money. And you're making decisions based on a single silo of data on that multi-million-dollar budget. That's some scary stuff. That's a lot of pressure. As a marketer, it scared the crap out of me all the time. Sitting there thinking, hey, I want to get more budget, but yet I'm still using the same archaic data with the same archaic KPIs with not even a single view of my target customer. And I'm now spending more money. That should scare the crap out of you. So we have this inability to deliver relevance. But the biggest tax of all, instead of being relevant to people everywhere, what are we doing? We're not giving them personalized messaging, personalized anything, and we're really annoying people. We're annoying the heck out of them. This is the biggest tax. But how did we get there? And here's the funny thing. We got there, it's all of our fault, but we got there by being smart. And let me explain this. So, for every new channel, for every new opportunity that opened up, you want to go out there and you want to make the best decision. You're going to go out there and find the best solutions. What did you do? You go to all the review sites. You call up your colleagues. You go and find out what is the best of breed. You find out what the analysts are talking about. You did your job. For social media, you went out, you did your research. You made your short list. Then you made your decision on the best of breed. Then you went to your mobile application. You did the exact same thing and over. All great decisions, all well made. But let's see what's happening here. And even by building your stack with the best of breed, by connecting MarTech and AdTech, you still can't even see a single view of the customer. You've done all these great things. You have, these, it's almost like this quick story of, who's running a marketing department is because they're the person with multiple screens at their desk. How many people here have like 3 or 4 screens at their desk? That was me. You know why? Because you pulled up one application here, another one here, and you extract all the data, and then you pull that up because, the data reports weren't the same, so you downloaded all that raw data, and then upload it into an Excel, and you had Excel spreadsheets on 3 different screens, and then you were trying to overlap those screens to see where the ebbs and flows were. How many people did that? Because I did that, right? My office was never meant for comfort. It was meant for an audience of a whole bunch of screens in the back and a bunch of chairs so all of us could sit there and just stare at the screens and try to figure out what's going on. This is not the future. This is not innovation. You know, we have to change this. So these great decisions inadvertently created channel myopia where it's really difficult sometimes to see the forest from the trees. So, and you can't model an entire journey and see how your activities are even affecting your offline sales. And because of this, the inability to see this, what works, you're having tremendous leakage from your marketing budget. But imagine you're spending this huge fortune on your advertising, on your social, on your search. But what if you could fix these leaks? Imagine the amount of money you could get back. Imagine how much your ROI would go up, right? At the end of the day, if you can go back and you say, you know what, we had a few changes here and there, but I was able to increase ROI by this, that's golden. That's golden to anybody. I don't care what company you work for. If you can increase that ROI, that's golden. So the biggest symptom and the penalty of all of this is it, irrelevance. That's the way to penalize any marketer is being irrelevant. Because we all know, marketing, that relevance is what works. If you're not relevant, what are you? You're just a marketer. It's almost like that person that says, yeah, I built a website and nobody's coming to it. Well, is it relevant? Did you do anything to push it out there? No, I just built it. I thought Google was going to take it out and push it for me. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So if you create an offer and a message that's relevant to a person, it's more likely to convert than some just generic broadcast-style message. And you know what? This is not something that's new to you. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sitting here getting myself pumped up, trying to get you guys pumped up, right? I'm not saying anything new here, right? Everybody's shaking their head. Okay. So by delivering relevant and personal message every single time, you're going to create loyalty, and you're going to create lifetime value. So what's the answer, right? After all this spiel, after all this excitement, there's an answer. The answer is to connect everything at the data layer. It's an interesting concept, right? So you can continue to build and integrate your stack with new marketing and advertising platforms. And the focus really is to really still find omni-channel success. That's the goal. The goal is omni-channel success, true omni-channel success, but at the data layer. So what is the data layer? What does that really mean? So let me start with this. Before we go into really what is the data layer, I have to really explain what the data layer is not. So this is what 95% of marketing teams are doing, right? The spaghetti integration. They're trying to connect at the application layer. So if you want to maybe share your data between your Salesforce CRM and your IBM campaign management platform, you just make a direct link, right? You integrate them, you create a sync or maybe a bi-directional sync, and you're done, right? But then your systems and your channels multiply. There's some new sexy product out there that you want to bring in, right? So the integration spaghetti becomes crazy to maintain. And it drives unnecessary complexity and cost. And most of all, it doesn't scale. Because the last thing you want to do is to go to IT and say, hey, we just found another really cool application. Can you build a custom API for this one? And what's the first thing that IT says to you? Well, we already have our fixed roadmap. It's probably going to take 6 months before we can get to it. And when we do get to it, it's probably going to take 2 to 3 months to develop the API. In like 2 to 3 months. It should take you a few weeks. Well, no, we're kind of limited on resources. OK, so then once you get it, what are you going to do? You need to test it. You're going to test it for 3 to 6 months to make sure it's worth it. So what just happened? A year went by when you first found this new sexy product that's probably now irrelevant now. A year has gone by. And this is what we've all been living through. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir again, right? So after all this, you're still living in silo land. That's what it's about. So When you connect at the data layer, you can create your customer portraits centrally, right there in the middle, in a data environment that you control. So ingesting data from each of these systems for analysis, modeling, and segmentation, and then distributing them back to each. This is what's needed for activation and engagement. So this really small difference is the key to people-based marketing. So let me explain what's in this data layer. So we have a complete view of the customer. We have something called identity resolution, and we're going to get into that. We have offline, we have online data, we have MarTech, we have ad tech, we have known or PII, we have anonymous, we have prospect, we have existing customer data, we have first, second, third-party data. We also, and what do you call this thing? You call it a customer hub. You can maybe call it a CDP or customer data platform, or what we call it, Acxiom calls it a data environment. This is what we recommend you build. So what I'd like to introduce now is the concept today. This is the concept. It's called Open Garden. Open Garden is not a product. Open Garden is an approach. It's an approach for a new way of integrating your omnichannel. So it's not a product, but it's really an approach using a foundation to really bridge offline and online data, bridging MarTech and ad tech, so you can drive smarter, more relevant, more consistent omnichannel experiences so you can win your customers and win your results. So an open garden is really fundamentally based on this premise of better together, right? You're building the power of this connected, collaborative ecosystem. So better together, what does that mean? Better together means a place where brands and publishers collaborate to target more precisely, right? Working together, sharing data, so this is a win-win. The next? It means tech platforms, right? Working together to support people-based omnichannel marketing, connecting MarTech and ad tech. What else does it mean? It means offline and online, so we can harness the power of that connected data. It also means linking prospecting activities with your existing customer management. And then also, finally, it's bringing the known and unknown, that PII together with anonymous, right? So imagine all this in a data world together. How many people have this? How many people are trying this? Yes, look at this. This is fantastic. It's like, what's that, whack-a-mole, where it's little hands going up like this? Let me see real fast. I'll just quick count. How many people are trying some of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like warms my heart. I love this. See, this is fantastic. You guys are the thought leaders. You're the ones who we should all be talking to after this. I'm just a spokesperson. These are the people who are testing it and trying it. You are the ones who are creating innovation. But what I'm curious about is that innovation creating also fragmentation, right? So next. The biggest difference about the open garden is you own your open garden. So what do I mean? And let me specifically say, you take control. You have full transparency to your data. You have full transparency to your partnerships. You actively manage your marketing system. I keep on saying you. I'm not talking about your vendor. You're not giving all of your data to your vendor. This is your data. You control it. It's yours. You own the relationship. You control your destiny. You need to stay in control. So what is the value? The value of the open garden is based on a certain set of key principles that I have to go over, because without this, it doesn't really make any sense. So first one, identity resolution, right? Identity resolution, does anybody here really understand identity resolution and familiar with it? Head nods, yes. Talk to that guy, right? So treat people in a relevant way. You need to recognize them where they interact with you and how you interact with them. So identity resolution is the key to people-based marketing. It can help you recognize consumers across channels, across devices at the highest degree. And what is the result of this? So an omnichannel identity graph that's really connecting your systems and recognizing your customers and your prospects everywhere. And if you have more questions about this, you can come ask us after this. Next one, omni-channel integration, the big buzzword, right? This is what Acxiom is proud of. This is about integrating the gaps. This is about integrating those silos. This is about your choice for channels, for your customers, for your data, for your technologies. This is about your ability to deliver audiences. The goal of connecting your data at the data layer is to enable a single concept of people-based marketing. So information that is gathered across the customer journey from known to unknown, to online to offline, this is what's going to create that customer view and to create people-based marketing. This right here. So next one, objective measurement and attribution. So the Open Garden provides access, ownership, and transparency to your data so that you can develop a deep understanding with seamless interactions and build strong relationships. Governance. So governance, maintaining control, maximizing the value of your data assets with the best practice decision rights, data hygiene, data authentication, data quality. This stuff is gold. So let's keep it that way. Next, and finally, trust. The currency of all marketing is what? It's trust. If they don't trust your brand, how are they going to trust you? How are they going to buy your product or your solution or service? If you breach it, it's all lost. You have lost all rights to the market. So protecting identities with holistic privacy and security compliant practices is really one of the unbendable principles of the Open Garden. So here's the money slide. How do we do it? Right? How do we get started? How do we turn abstract something into pragmatic and practical? So the omnichannel marketing starts with defining use cases. So use cases that enable a great customer experience. And as we all know, there's probably over 300 to 400 different marketing use cases out there. So most of which can be recognized into 4 key categories. First, plan, engage, measure, and collaborate. These 4. And the key here is that you're not implementing data or technology without first understanding those use cases. Or even with that, the key business requirements, and then what you're doing is you're taking that and you're implementing all these use cases together. So each use case needs to have a business case associated with it. So each use case is really driving a fundamental improvement to your customer experience while driving the improvements of reach, revenue, and ROI, right? Those are the key 3 things that everybody's looking for. But once you have identified your use case, or your use cases in the business case, it's going to drive tangible results. You need an integration strategy. This is the key. You need an integration strategy that addresses the digital explosion. The digital explosion and the fragmentation has resulted from implementing all this innovation. So how do you do this? You'll need capabilities, and you'll need solutions that focus on establishing a complete view of the customer. So in other words, resolving identity and enabling true omni-channel integration, right? This slide right here. So, and of course, it doesn't hurt to have a trusted partner. This is the Acxiom plug here, right? It doesn't hurt to have a trusted partner available to assist with this. Acxiom itself has a deep expertise in data, services, and technology, and a partner that has years and years of experience integrating marketing technologies and data. So Acxiom itself, Acxiom is a trusted partner and the omni-channel integrator. We help marketers enable great experiences by solving a complete customer view. Our marketing solutions result in quantifiable business outcomes that increase reach, revenue, and return. So we provide people-based omni-channel solutions to address these key issues. So we plan audiences, we engage customers, we measure marketing impact, and we collaborate with partners. These are the key things that we do. And we start with use cases. So we can then help to resolve identity and your data and your technology, right? So we are here to help you. This is what Acxiom is here to do, to help you out. Building slides, right? So, to sum it up, let you get out of here, right? These are the key 3 takeaways. Of all the things I've said today, number 1, the ad tech and MarTech fragmentation tax leads to poor customer experience. You got to focus on this. You got to find a way to connect ad tech and MarTech. If you're not doing this, you're in the dark ages. You need to take a step forward. There's a lot of very smart people in this room. There's a lot of very smart companies out there. You got to focus on this. Number 2, it's important to connect your marketing ecosystem at the data layer. As we talked about, you don't want to get in that integration spaghetti of trying to connect to the application layer. It doesn't scale. It's too costly, right? It's just, it's a little bit of an archaic way of doing things. The new way to do things is at the data layer. And lastly, you got to leverage a trusted partner. An omni-channel integrator to help you build this, because reach, return, and revenue are key. So, if you haven't already, we have this website, opengardennow.com. This allows you to go in and download our definitive guide. It's a quick read. If you're on the train or the bus or anything, it'll probably take you about 15 to 20 minutes max. It's a fantastic read, and also you can follow us on Twitter at opengardennow. And that's really it. Thank you very much. My name is Jeremy Roberts. Feel free to ask us questions afterwards. We'll be here all day. And if you guys also, if you want to fill out these little things down there to download Definitive Guide, you can win an Amazon Echo, and you can either leave it with us here or you can meet us up at our booth. Thank you.